Hi folks, another build on the table. I've got all my parts laid out, so I've cut everything off the sprues beforehand just to save time on the video. So I've got Hot Wheels Mini, they call it the MG Mini now, the Rover Mini, Morris Mini. Okay. It's one of the newer castings, the newer deco, so it's not the one where the base snaps off like with a little clip with the roll cage and stuff, so it's just a standard Mini. Doesn't matter anyway, because I'm not going to see much of the interior when I'm done. I've got some Dice Mechanic Games Walker legs, which I used on the build for Televised Carnage's truck. Sorry, brain's gone dead. I've also got two missile pods, the flat plate, like headlight machine guns I call them, and a blower, all from Dice Mechanic Games. And then I've got some Secret Weapon Miniatures hatch, two-piece hatch. We're going to keep it closed. Some mesh and some, I don't know the diameter of this sprue. I think it's, it is my very, very budget calipers. 0.1 mil, 0.12 mil. They're not very accurate calipers. They're good if I want to measure something too, but the silver line, they're not ideal. So the aim of the game is obviously to do a quick build. I'll talk you through what I'm going to do. It's going to be a walker. I'm going to cover the walker in this video. Depending on how quick it goes, it's probably go fairly quick because it is really just like, put some bits on, cut a few bits off, drill the headlights for the machine guns, remove this piece, etc. So it's not a vastly in-depth build. But if you follow me on Facebook, obviously I spoke about this, what I was going to do on the Autokill Facebook page. So I'm going to make a walker, obviously, and then the aim is to have like ropes coming off the back, which I'll make out of brass wire or copper wire, going to a vehicle that it will tow, and I'll make the ropes removable. So it'd be like it's knocked something out and it's towing it back, or they're using it to tow something. I haven't decided on a colour scheme or anything like that. I just thought I could build a little walker, but then I should do something different as well. So try and do different things. So it'll either all be one video, depending how long this is. If not, it'll be a two-piece video where I'll build this and paint this in one video, and then I'll build everything in one video, this in the trailer, and I'll paint everything in the trailer, the other vehicle, and I'll paint everything in the other video. Haven't decided on what thing it's going to pull along. This will be filmed over a few days, not like my usual filmed in one day. This build bit will be filmed all right now, and then I'll work out the other bits afterwards. So that's really it. Need my drill, got some saws and stuff, and pin vise and some super glue. Still running really down super glue, I haven't had any. The postman at my local post office today, most of them have gone home because someone that works there has got coronavirus. Not necessarily sure they came to work with it, but that's how it is. So what I'll do is I'll start this and we're going to time lapse, and I'll pop back if I have anything important to say. So first hurdle. First hurdle's already reared its head. I was going to drill all the way through to sink these from the other side. But material is fairly thick. In fact, I'll keep on drilling and end up through the wing before I come all the way through. So I hollowed it out, drilled with a slightly bigger drill bit to give me a bit more space, which means that I can recess them slightly. And there's obviously some rivets around these headlights on this, which is design-wise is a feature of this. So I'm going to lose those with a file in a second. I'm going to not do too much cutting with this because the emphasis I want to be on the legs. So drilling the headlights and filing them out to put the machine guns in is cool. Adding the blower in is cool as well. So the next thing I'll do as well is I'm going to use my hobby saw, cut this vent piece off, and then we'll strip the wheels up. I'll cut the vent piece off first, sorry. Attach the, no I can't, let me record this. Okay, so we've hit our first hurdle. Well, I've hit my first hurdle. The material here behind the headlights is fairly thick and it's angled, so I've been drilling for ages and I can't be bothered with that. So I've bored out a small hole, then increased the diameter so it's the right size to fit these barrels in, so I'm just going to recess them instead. There's some rivets around the outside that I've mashed up a bit, so I'm going to fire them flat. It's a bit of a design thing on this, which is cool. Then I'm going to look at the interior. Cut the windscreen off here. I'm going to mesh the front and these two side windows, and I'm going to keep these glass in. I've done it before on other builds. That's what I've got the sprue for. So I cut rivets to make it look these back three windows are riveted in, which is always nice, a bit of a change. I may even add a piece of plastic card to these two front windows so they look riveted in as well. I could rivet the windscreen, but then I'd have to make an aperture, etc, etc. I like the mesh anyway, so I'm going to do that. Once I've got that glued in and done, this is the way I've got to do it in stages, because once one bit's done, it's in and it's staying in. I'll use the scoop, and that whole top half of the interior is done, and that's onto the bottom half of the legs, which is not the easy bit, but not the hard bit. So I'll do those bits on time lapse, and we'll pop back once I've done those, unless I hit another hurdle. So I've decided these side windows, I'm going to plastic card them as well, so I can add rivets to them as well, and I'll do it from the inside rather than the outside like I sometimes do. I've got this ultra thin plastic card. It's not even measurable, it's like a fag paper, maybe like 10 fag papers. But I can do then is I can use draw a template and attach it from the reverse. As long as it's got super glue all the way around, it's perfectly tight. Won't go anywhere. Then I can rivet all the way around. It makes it hard to see into the interior as well, which is what I want, because I want it to be, even though it's little and it's a little car, but I want it to look, when I paint it, slightly menacing, not as. I want it to try and look slightly menacing. So yes, yeah, so I'll cut this plastic card to fit, glue it from the inside. I'll make the template slightly bigger, so I'll draw through the window opening. I'll cut this roughly the size and I'll draw through the window, and I'll leave an edge so I can stick it in. Then I'll add all the rivets, etc. afterwards. I'll do that in time lapse. Now I thought I'd quick jump on and tell you that, so you know what I'm doing. Alright folks, I'm back. I lost a bit of time lapse there. For some reason, every now and again my iPhone, and there's no time about it because it can time lapse to 20 minutes or it can time lapse to 5 minutes. It cuts out and then flashes back to a black screen, so I don't know if it's some issue with it. Like I said before, when it was happening on video, it's not a data issue or a memory issue, because I've got plenty of memory on there. Anyway, I've just dry fitted the parts that attach to the body to hold the legs. And obviously, on the Hot Wheels, apologise as always for my awful hands, but I'm a nail biter and I always have been. I've got no gloves at the moment, and I'm not going to take them away from people that might actually need them. You got this little raised bit, which is it's part of what I believe helps the wheel spin, because it's not hitting a flat surface. The little spindly hub bit hits that rather than the wheel rubbing against this area here. I need to remove this. It sticks out only slightly, but it makes it uneven, so they won't get a straight glue bond. Sorry, just knocked a drill bit on the floor. So I get a straight glue bond on this. So I'm just going to have to file these down on all four corners. And I'll glue the base, and you can see, I'm not sure how much it lost until I look back. So I've added the blower on the front, all the windows are done. So I've also roughed it up with a file, including the glass, to give it some texture, because like I always say, texture's good. Another thing, so obviously I've got a rounded file as well, which gives a different texture. So whenever I find a flat piece, or a bit that isn't really weathered enough, I heat it up, and you notice on the roof I've gone in different directions, just to make it look a bit rough. Also as well, it gives a good key when I want to put stick this etched brass bit, some secret weapon on there for the hatch, which I may or may not do. I think a roof hatch would look quite cool, because it implies that they might open it to look out. Not that it's the entrance or exit, just they're up high and they want a viewpoint. So yeah, so then obviously I've got to stick the base down, so I file that flat. Both sides, I'm sticking the base down. That's all sealed. It's one sealed unit. Like I say, once I paint it, you won't notice that these are windows. Got a bit of an overlap here where this template has slipped, but the super glue activator had already kicked in. And like I said before, what was once bendy is now rock hard. So that really super thin plastic cards, good for that. It's also good for armor, like in real life. If you think about scale wise, in real life, that thickness of plastic card would fairly represent something like, I think the Americans call it like level 3 or 3A. Like I think 3A's got a metal sheet in it as well as Kevlar, but that would adequately represent the depth of it. I always use too thick pieces of plastic card. I think like sort of like almost 3 mil, about 2 mil plastic card. That's not even 2 mil, but almost 2 mil plastic card. When you think about it scale wise, is huge. It's like having something that thick stuck to your door. There's steel plate on that on a normal car, it wouldn't go anywhere. So I've got lots of different thickness of plastic card, but I do need to get some more of this thin stuff. And like I say, once it's got glue in it, it's rock hard. You can also contour it as well. It holds shape really, really well. Just glue one end if you want to fold it over, leave it to dry, bend it over, and it holds in place. Anyway, so I'm going to file these down, glue the base on, do the rivets, and then we'll add the legs afterwards. That way I don't have to do any touching. I can put the machine guns on. There they are. Decide about the missile launchers and the roof hatch as well. Once I've done that, back to the time lapse. So there you go. Cut these rivets out, stuck them on. Use that's part of something else. I've used to put super glue on rather than my desk, which I've used in the past, which is those big blobs of super glue stuck to the desk everywhere. Thought I'd be a little bit less douchey. So I've left a gap in the middle of both these panels, which I thought about as I was doing it. I don't know if everyone noticed. So I can mount these rocket pods in there as well. Last few things to do before I attach the legs now, really. I'm going to attach the machine guns. I will put the rockets on. I think it'll add a bit more toughness to it, and the leg brackets. And then I'll work out the legs afterwards. On the vehicle I did for Chad at Televised Carnage, I kept the base separate so it could be broken down for set shipping and for him to store when he's playing. But I'm going to put mine all together, so I'm going to glue all my joints. So it's one fixed and built object, so I might just do all that in one go, and then we'll come back after that, and then that'll be this part of the video over. And when, depending on what I do, depends whether the next part will be painting this or the next part will be building a thing for this to pull along. So it's not a fast, not a slow, not a long build, but not really a short build, so it's not too difficult. I've obviously added a fair bit of detail with the rivets and the texturing of the body, the hood scoop and the machine guns. So I've changed the look of the Mini quite a lot. Once the legs are on, it looks totally different, so we'll pop back in a bit. Did just noticing I was doing this. These leg mounts would work really well as like a basis for a hover car or something similar. I have to bear that in mind. I want to build a couple of hover cars without using a hover mode DeLorean, obviously. So yeah, so there's a bit some that I need so far. Leave this to dry, and then I'll time lapse me putting these legs on. These legs are quite easy. They're quite posable as well. You can change the angles of them. So I'll probably do the back more mantis-like, so it's slightly further back, slightly angled. And the front maybe spread a little. Fully sideways on makes it look a bit more crab-like, but I think slightly towards the front, sorry, make it look better. But we'll time lapse that once this is dried. Cool. So there you go. That's that built. So not particularly difficult. Given the front legs a bit of a different pose to the back legs. Just need to have a look as it comes back around. I'm pretty sure that's right. Left front's slightly wonky. It is. We'll sort that out anyway. Yeah. Cool as anything. These legs are really, really good. I like them. And that cast on that front leg might be slightly bent. I'm not sure. It might just be an optical illusion. Yeah, I think it's an optical illusion. Anyway, yeah, going really good. I left off the secret weapon roof hatch in the end. Decided to keep it all like Dice Planet game stuff. It came out really good for what it is. Like I say, I'm not sure what's going to happen next to the rest of the video, so it'll either be me saying, hey, this is this, or hey, yes, that. So I'll either be painting this, or we'll be making a trailer and we do all the painting in a separate video. What I probably might do is just build and paint this all as one thing on one video, because this is fairly short at the moment anyway. Right then. Hello everyone, folks, chaps, ladies, gents, etc, etc. Excuse me. So we're back with the Mini, the Homunculus, as I'm calling it at the moment, so I can think of a better name, you know, because it's small and perfectly formed. So where I left it before, I'd finished building, so I've now primed it in grey. I'm out of black primer. I'm going to do a fairly simple colour scheme. My partner suggested that she's got a thing about ladybirds, so she suggested that I should paint the Mini red and the legs black, because I always paint everything body black or rusty or yellow, so to change it up a bit, which I don't mind doing. So I've got some bits and some supplies laid out. Cut myself some new foam off of not sure what that came in. I've got some blister packs arriving in the next couple of days, so I'll be able to get some more foam there. I've also picked through all my foam and got some Haggerty bits, some fairly good bits, different textures, like I always say, make the paint job better. 3 brushes I tend to use the most at the moment, even though I've got tons of brushes, so I'm just using them because they're there. And I've got 3 paints at the moment here on the table, and they're going to be the 3 basic paints I use for the whole build. So I've got, if the focus works, there we go. I've got Citadel Wasteland Red. Now, someone asked this on the last video I posted. I transferred all of my paints, my Citadel paints, into dropper bottles. So sorry about that. I turned the unclipped the camera from the arm, which is this arm here, which is why I say the arms are right paint on the back side, because it's the cheapest arm I could get. So all my paints are here. So I transferred all my like Citadel paints into dropper bottles, and I display it, or I have them on the rack, the buttons facing outwards, so I can see what the colours are and pick them up. We've got a fairly good range, got 100 and something paints. Could do a few more reds, but once something runs out, I'll order some more. I'm running out of black and silver at the moment, if I'm honest, or gunmetal. And this is how it sits. So yeah, I transferred all the paints myself, which was a messy and annoying task. I can suggest one thing: if you want to transfer into dropper bottles like this, sacrifice a dropper bottle, cut it. Yeah, so cut it about here. So use it as a funnel, and then you'll know that you'll put it, when you get to about, when you put paint into here and you let it flow through, you'll know that you're nearly full and you're not going to overflow and make a mess. I also added a couple of drops, little drops of airbrush, like not flow improver, can't think what it is, to each Citadel paint pot, and shook them up, because a lot of them you don't know how long they've been on the shelf in the shop, and some of them come out really, really like gloopy. So they're not pre-thinned, because that's a bit of a fallacy, but they're a little bit thinner than they would be from the pots. I like dropper bottles because I use a palette. I haven't transferred any texture paints, transferred all my washes as well, which reminds me I need a sepia wash. So colours I'm going to use, anyway, I digress. Wasteland Red for the body of the Mini, matte black by Army Painter, which is another one of those Army Painter bottles that leaks a little bit when you shake up. For the legs, Army Painter gunmetal for the metal parts as a base coat, and then I'll do a Seraphim Sepia shade over everything, including the black. I know it sounds a bit silly, but I'm going to use sponge as always to apply, which means there'll be areas of grey shown through the grey primer, which I want on the red to a certain extent, and the sepia wash will get it all in together. What I'll also do is I'll use Army Painter Armour Wash. Sorry, Secret Weapon Miniatures Armour Wash. I do apologise, Secret Weapon Miniatures, really good armour wash on the metal pieces that I've painted with the gunmetal. And then if I use any other colours, I'll let you know. Don't think I will. And then obviously after that, what I'll probably do once I've done the red and the black, is when I go back into detail with the gunmetal, I'm going to do all these armour plates. I'm going to add a little bit of matte black into the gunmetal to darken up these armour plates slightly. And then I'll paint all the rivets with gunmetal. Then I'll add some rust effects with a sponge, as always. And that's it really. It's going to be quite a simple paint job. Aim for this is to get the video under 40 minutes. So I think I've got 25 minutes of build, so we're going to have 15 minutes of paint. I've talked for 5 or 6 minutes of that. So the rest of this paint job is just going to be time lapse until we get to the end, unless I've got something pertinent to say in the middle. All right then, let's get cracking. Okie dokie, so this is where we're at. As you probably saw on the time lapse, I had a couple of little oopsies. Like my gloves had silver paint. So before in the previous video, this gunmetal leaks really, really badly. I don't think the tolerances between the inside of the lid and the top of the dropper hole are tight enough. It's one of the Army Painter paints I have that leaks, and because the rack I have stores it slightly nose down. And then I shake them before I use them, because with the citadel paint and dropper bottles, that's the best thing to do. I think the tolerances are too big, so it fills the nib up with paint, and then when you screw the lid back on, you get paint all over your hands, and then you don't realise, especially with gloves on, you can't feel it, and then you touch something. So what I had to do is wet a brush and scrub it off, the silver that I managed to transfer everywhere. And what that's done is leave, breathing like I run up some stairs, but I haven't. What that's done is leave like flecks everywhere of silver, which is no bad thing. I then added an armour wash over the whole thing. Remember at the start I was talking about, which was the beginning of the day, it's now late afternoon, because obviously I've left stuff dry and I've got a child and other things to sort out during the day. So I left stuff dry, and I looked at it with the brown wash and I wasn't too happy. Like the scratches and the scrapes weren't showing up as well as I wanted them to. So I did an armour wash, which is a darker wash, which I had to water down slightly because it comes out really dark. You can see in my palette where it's dried, it's almost black, which is cool. So it sort of brought it all together. A couple of things I've got to do. So I'm going to detail the indicators, detail the tail lights. I'll use my blood god for the tail lights, and I'll use a little orange for the indicators just to keep it as it is, and then some orange rust on these rivets on the armour plates I've put in the windows. Probably some orange rust around a few other places with a sponge. Not like my normal rust though, this will be as delicate as I can get it. And some orange rust on the grate. I think I want this looks worn and weathered, and I'd like it to have some rust on it as well as some dirt. Then I'll do a pass with my Tamiya Weathering Masters, maybe a bit of weathering powder just for a bit of a change, because obviously I've got a black weathering powder. I'll show you this wrong drawer. So I've got the Humbrol Weathering Rust Wash, which is good, but I've also got had these for donkeys. I don't know if Basecraft's still around or not anymore. Probably. I bought the basing kit from them. They used to do basing kits, so they still do. I've not had a look. I've got a black, like a smoke colour, and a rust. And if I get a little bit of each, mix them together, powdered, and then apply them, it gives it a more weathered rather than rusty look. So what I might do is have a pass with those after the weathering master stuff, just in a few places, like around the back of the rocket launchers, around any bits I've added rust to, just to give it a little bit of something different, and to use something different as well, because they always use the same technique. I'm going to probably as well dry brush the legs. So I've added some silver, but I think I'd like them to look a little bit more worn and weathered, so I'm going to use, this sounds a bit confusing, but it's not to me anyway. This is the way I tend to rust stuff. If I use weathering dry brushes, sorry, 1 second. So for scratches and stuff, I tend to use Slanish Grey when I do dry brushing, and then when I rust something, or I tend to use these three. So I'll go bare metal, old rust, new rust, and that's how I'll run through. So what I'll probably do is do a dry brush before I do anything else. I'll do a dry brush pass over the whole vehicle. I used the Slanish Grey because I really like grey as a dry brush on the Mini itself, a little bit on the legs to show chipping and wear, and then we'll go through the dry rust, the riser rust, sorry, the Verminlord hide and Necron compound. I may actually skip the Army Painter rust effect, which is what I use on everything at the moment, and just go what I'd call one of my old school styles, very similar to the style that I used on this, which is one of my oldest vehicles. You can see it's got a more all-round worn look. You can see where the Slanish Grey is showing up on the black there, and then I've obviously got rust around there. So that I may use that technique, just as it's a bit different, because I've used the riser rust on everything I've filmed so far. That's out of focus again. Good old iPhone. Yeah, I think I'll do that instead. Change of pace, change of plans. We'll go time lapse on that as I do a bit of dry brushing, and then do the details as well, and then we'll come back. A bit of red on the gun barrel there, and we'll come back when the vehicle's finished, and we'll have a quick chat before I sign off. Awesome. Right then, folks, and we're done. So this is the finished. No, sorry. So this is what we started with. I look a right plunge. This is what we ended up with, wouldn't I? No. So this is what we started with. A Mini by Hot Wheels. I've got a few of these because I'm doing an Italian job team soon. Again, I've done one already for a friend, but it won't be for a little while yet because I've got loads of other things in the way. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 8 videos before this one on the Italian job stuff, so it won't be mini after mini. I'm trying to keep it a bit different. So yeah, like I say, this is what we started off with, and this is where we ended up. So it's now half 4 in the afternoon, and I started painting this morning, but I've had probably total time painting's about 2 hours max, and that's purely because I've been at it all day, but I've not been at it all day. I've been doing other things. I've had some parcels, been looking after my daughter, food, lunch, etc. So yeah, so this is where we ended up. This little homunculus came out really good. Pretty pleased with it, if I'm honest. Like I said the last time before we did the time lapse, I was going to do dry brushing rather than my standard weathering. And dry brushing, it's another technique. I like to have as many techniques as I can. I like to keep things different. I haven't done a dry brush car for ages. I've been using that Army Painter weathering, with Army Painter Effects rust paint on pretty much everything. Everything on my rack, display rack, is pretty much everything apart from the silver cars, and a few here and there has got that paint effect on it that I've done with rust. So it's time to do something a bit different. Did a whole tutorial on using that rust paint with a sponge. Painted it with a sponge still, painted the legs with a brush in the end rather than a sponge because of the shape's just a bit of a pain in the backside. Purely for black. Had a couple of mistakes, but we worked through it. It came out like this. It looks great. I love it. Won't fit on my bloody shelf though. That's the only problem. So I'm going to have to find somewhere else. I'll have to sit on my desk somewhere. I've got a couple of shelves on the side of my desk, but it won't fit on my display shelf because it's too wide. But yeah, it came out awesome. I'm super chuffed with it. I shall see everyone in the next video. I've got some ideas coming up. Yeah, I've got another build. Obviously this is meant to be putting something along, like a wrecked car. I've got dead, one of Dice Mechanic Games is dead guys that I might put like sort of out the windscreen of a car and have it towed behind that where it's been wrecked, knocked out by this little Mini. That'd be quite cool. I'm not too sure yet. That might be the next video after this. If not, if it's a video a few down the line, then we'll do a quick recap on this build. I've got some unboxings which should come this week. I'm going to do a hover car build, which will be ace. Then I'm going to do a team book as per the rule book. Probably Idris, believe it or not. Only because I've got these Idris stickers that I want to use that I got off eBay. I love the ones with the skulls at ace. I like skulls, as you can probably tell. Yeah, so I might do I'm going to do an Idris team build. I've got some supercars, so I might do a Miyazaki team build as well. I've got some terrain builds. I'll do figures as well. I've got some figures coming. I'm going to put 4 or 5 figures together from a couple of different manufacturers and paint them all in one video. And then I've got picking up cars, like 10 cars to look out for when you're out hunting for stuff. Not necessarily cars that everyone can find, but these are all cars that I've picked up for less than £1.50 over the last week or so, and that's through either eBay or sellers on Facebook or from the shops. So yeah, so there's a few videos in the making, on the way. If you think of anything you want me to feature in a video, just leave a comment below. You can get me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or anything. Same name as this, Monster Customs. I've changed my name as well as my logo from Monster Customs Diecast to Monster Customs. Obviously, like I said in the previous video, Chad from Televised Carnage redesigned me a logo, and he's helped me loads with the videos, the intros, etc. So thank you very much, mate. Yeah, cool beans. I shall see everyone next time. Thank you.